for example, whether it's a Bhagavad Gita, or whether it's listening to some nice videos of Srila Prabhupada, or maybe it's going to the temple and looking at the beautiful way the deities have been dressed, or just gazing about the deities, praying, and you're having a wonderfully blissful, joyful, happy experience. Well, I mean, that's very, very commendable. So the important point is that we have to value all of these different forms of devotional service. So I want to move ahead a little bit so that we get through this entire purport. And since it has been ascertained, let's see, did I cover the whole thing no, I think I only covered 2 of the modes. Let me just finish that up. So we may get and also the different kinds of the 3 kinds of miseries. So we had the miseries which come from our own body and mind, and miseries which come from, come on, raise your hand and say it out loud. Go ahead. Other living entities, yes. And does that include frogs? Yeah, it includes frogs. It includes mosquitoes? Definitely mosquitoes. I was over at Tucson, so for a weekend there. So I was in this, it was in October too, I thought. I left with great souvenirs, 60 mosquito bites. Yeah, really. And even with the lotion, these mosquitoes, they were too smart for the lotion. You couldn't beat them, not at all. As much as you put on, they just waited till it dried out, till the air carried it up, and then whoosh, dive bombers. The whole family invited. It's too bad. Yeah, it was my worst weekend of any outside preaching. So, therefore, we got which come from other living entities. Okay, raise your hand. What is the 3rd kind of misery? Yes, please.
They coming from demigods.
Demigods. What do they do? How do they make us miserable?
Hurricane, cyclone.
What is that?
Floods, hurricane, cyclone.
Good. Yeah, come on, a few more if you have. We can all identify with that. Yeah, floods, fires.
Tsunami.
Pardon? Tsunami. Right. Good. Yeah, that's it. So how can you be happy? And look at this Hurricane Michael. You think they're chanting Hare Krishna right now? They're just cleaning up the mess. Did you see it on your TV or on your internet? How the hurricane hit and the buildings that were there? This is very sad. If you study this next time, or when it hit by, what do they call that type?
Tornado?
Tornado, yeah. When the wreckage is finished and the tornado has gone back out to the sea or the what do they call it? The hurricane has died down, and you see the rubble that has been left, or what you'll find is that you see a whole row of houses that went down. They're practically flat, and then just a little behind them, there's another 8 or 9 houses, not even a scratch. Now, is that God showing favoritism? I mean, because you offered a donation to the church or to the synagogue, and he let you go on that one? No, it doesn't work like that. Many of these people, they're eating meat, and they're eating fish, and they're eating eggs, and so many of these things. And that there's can you hear me all right?
Yes.
And so there's so much unnecessary killing going on. Those creatures, they don't enjoy the killing. And we have to understand that they're sentient beings just as we are, and where they may not be as smart, not maybe, they aren't as smart as us, and then nonetheless there is, they feel it and they experience it, and therefore for that reason anyone with some compassion, with some feeling of empathy or sympathy, you don't want to do those kind of things. So if you, after a while, you've been contributing to the death of thousands of animals or fish, there's going to be some punishment. And many of this happens like in a community or in a city. 99% of the people, they're all eating this meat and fish and so forth. And they're thinking, we're going to have a big barbecue, get that steak out on there, get the hot dogs going. And come on, they're like ignorant persons walking into a fire. They have no knowledge. That's why these books must get out there. They don't know that there's a connection. Prabhupada mentions this again and again, that all these calamities that we have, which are, as you mentioned, they come from the demigods, typhoons and tsunamis and earthquakes and fires and mudslides. These things do not come just out of bad luck. They come because you have initiated that bad luck by your actions. So we can help people by explaining to them that if I give you a punch and you don't like it, you're not going to let me do that again, are you? He said, no, of course not. Well, you think the animal that you're eating, you think he likes that punch when he's put on line with all the other cows one after another, and then they finally enter the slaughterhouse, a clamp goes down on their ankle. This is actual, by the way. Go on, you can Google it and see it. Clamp goes down on their ankle, and then no sooner is it there, they're hoisted up approximately 15 feet in the air, and then they go on a conveyor belt, which brings them around. And as they go on the conveyor belt, there's Dr. Death sitting there with his cleaver, and all he does is he slits their throats. Can you imagine doing that all day? What kind of dreams does this person have? I wouldn't want to be in them. Not at all. So this is what goes on all day, and his white apron has become another color. We all know what color that is. So anyway, what happens is that these are the results of harming other living entities unnecessarily. There may be a time when it's necessary to even kill an animal if that's all you have, and there's nothing else. Well, it is your duty to sustain our lives so that we can go on with our devotional service and continue to develop pure love of Krishna. Therefore, we may have to do that, but generally speaking, every effort should be made to not do that. And by making that effort, Krishna is always very pleased, and he will please us, so that other beings don't harm us. If you don't harm another being, or these natural disturbances, coming back to the illustration I just gave, in the natural, the whole row of homes go down, and then 10 of them unscathed, and then 2 here knocked down, 3 up. So you wonder, what's going on here? Why is it that some are not getting hit, some are hardly getting hit, some are just getting the roof knocked off? What's the secret behind it? Well, is it just chance? That's what they like to think. It's not chance. This is called karmic reaction. You get what you deserve, you get what you set in motion, and the result will be the pain and the suffering, and you'll get a chance to be what? More compassionate, more concerned, more caring, more thoughtful, before you contribute to the killing of that animal again. You see, pain makes us think, thinking makes us wise, and that's why people, we have to explain. You get pain to help you to understand that the other creatures, the less intelligent, they don't like it either. And if any of us knew the way the dairy cows are produced, you'd never take any milk from a non-ahimsa cow. You wouldn't want to, because they're literally tormented. Okay, that's enough of that subject now. I just wanted to drop a few lines of hint that we should be very thoughtful and careful about what we contributed towards, because when things come to us, we may then question, are we doing the very best that we can in order to please Krishna, okay? But I don't want everybody, this is my very strong request, no one should become a fanatic in anything, you see, except one thing, love of God. Mm-hmm. You can be a fanatic in that, and nobody is going to bother you, and Krishna will make all nice arrangements in your life. But, being a fanatic, look what you're eating, you're taking milk, how could you do that? Oh, you should be a vegan. Why I should be a vegan? Well, because, and then your arteries, they get all caked up. How do you know? Well, there's a doctor said, it's all wasteful time. Waste your time on that with the fanatics. I have one thing for all the fanatics, whether it's the Vegan fanatics, I'm mostly vegan, but I'll take milk if it comes from cows that are protected. I mean, that's just because Prabhupada said milk, and it's good. Krishna advised very much milk products. And but the thing is that we all have to balance these things. If you're not doing much activity, much work, or much exercise, you do have to be careful about milk lining up the arteries. And your arteries should be wide, but as it continues to get increased with fats, the hole through which the blood has to pass gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Well, how does it get through so that it reaches the remotest parts of your body which need it in order to function? Well, how does it do it? The heart has to pump. So the heart pumps harder to get through that little small. So we do have to think about those things. And if we're just doing sedentary work, and you don't have a workout program, you don't have an exercise program, now my recommendation is get at least 20 to 30 minutes a day in some way, so that you don't get those things, and so that your body will be healthy, and you'll be able to take care of your wife and your kids and your relatives, and you'll be doing what is necessary for the body to function well. This is what I do, as already he mentioned it. It's not bragging, but it's just helpful. I also have good genetic. My mother, she lived till 98, so therefore I can't take full credit. But I do a little bit of what I can, and I encourage everyone to do some exercises and do a little bit of jogging or running or bicycling. And we don't have to be fanatic. Oh, that's Maya. I don't want anything to do with Maya. You know, I hear that. What do you mean it's Maya? Prabhupada walked. Is that Maya also? That's Maya. So therefore, just be very balanced. Just be very intelligent and discriminating in your choices. Don't go to extremes. And also, it is good to seek the advice of persons who are more knowledgeable and who have been through many years of these things, and may be able to advise you and guide you. It's always good to ask people who are more knowledgeable in these subject matters, rather than being fanatical and so forth like that. So, coming back now, is everyone clear on everything that I have just said so far? Because I can stop for a few moments and answer questions